Lesson 2.3, Solving Multi-Step Equations. All right, we're going to take a look at the first equation here, which is 11x minus 4 equals 29. So let's take a look at our x. And the way we can figure out what to do in this problem is to take a look at the x and then work backwards. The x is times 11 and then minus 4. So if you're going to times by 11 and then minus 4, if you work backwards doing the opposite thing, you can actually solve for x. So the opposite thing from minus 4 is to plus 4. So if we add 4 to both sides, a negative 4 and a positive 4 cancel each other out because of the additive inverse. So the 11x comes down, and 29 plus 4 is 33. Now, the opposite thing from times 11 is divide by 11. So if you divide by 11, the two 11s cross out because of the multiplicative inverse, and you find out that x equals 3. All right, so you should try to pause and do attempt B on your own. Well, let's see how you did. So it's times by 2 and then plus 11. So let's do the opposite of plus 11. That would be minus 11. The two 11s cross out, additive inverse. The 2q comes down, and 3 minus 11 is negative 8. The opposite of times by 2 is to divide by 2. These two cross out, multiplicative inverse, and q equals negative 8 divided by 2, which is negative 4. And that's all you have to do. All right, so let's look at two more problems. C. If you notice, A is first plus 7. That's closest to it. And then after that, it's divided by 8. So plus 11, or sorry, plus 7, and then divided by 8. Work backwards. What stops divided by 8? Multiply by 8. So I'm going to multiply by 8 on both sides. The 8 on the top and the 8 on the bottom cancel each other out due to multiplicative inverse. And then A plus 7, the remaining numerator comes down, equals 8 times 5, which is 40. Next up, the opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So if I subtract 7 from both sides, the 7's cross out, additive inverse, and A equals 40 minus 7, which is 33. All right, B is for you to attempt. All right, let's see how you did. So we're dividing by 12, so I'm going to multiply by 12 on both sides. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So the 12s cross out, and I get k plus 9 equals negative 2 times 12 makes negative 24. And then the opposite of plus 9 is minus 9. So a plus 9 and minus 9, additive inverse, and k equals negative 24 minus 9. Well, since they're both negative, add them together and keep the sign, which is negative 33. Okay, let's look at the next type of problem. Consecutive integers. Consecutive integers are numbers that come in order. They're in a row. So if you're looking for 3 consecutive numbers, that means I need 3 numbers that are in order. Now, the sum, what they're going to do is add. They're going to add up to what? 72. Well, the first thing I'm going to ask is, do we know what any of the numbers are? And according to the problem, we don't. So we have to find all 3 of them. So we'll start with the first number, and we'll assign it a variable since it's unknown. So let's use x. And I'm going to label it so that I know why I picked the letter x. X is the first number. Now, the next question is what number comes after x? Now, immediately some people think the next number that comes after x is y, but it's not. That's just another letter. Now, if I asked you to take the number 7, for instance, and asked you, what's the next number after 7? Immediately you say, well, that's 8. Well, how do you go from 7 to 8? You add 1 to get to 8. So that's what we're going to do here. We're not going to change x to a different letter. We're going to add 1 to it. So the second number is x plus 1. And once you add 1 to get the second number, then that makes the third number x plus 2. Now, what do these 3 numbers do? They add together. All 3 numbers add together. So 1 plus 2 makes 3. And how many x's do you see? 3x. So 1, 2, 3, 3x. And 1 plus 2 is 3. That expression, remember, is equal to 72. So if we solve this problem, then we'll know what the numbers were. The way to stop a plus 3 is with a minus 3. Plus and minus, additive inverse, they cancel out. So 3x equals 69. Get rid of the 3 by dividing. Multiplicative inverse cancels those out. And we find out that x equals 23. Now that's only one of the numbers. Remember, I asked for 3 numbers, so you have to go back to the expression that we wrote here in red. It says the second number is x plus 1. So 23 plus 1. That's right, 24. And then the second number is plus 2. 23 plus 2 is 25. And those 3 numbers add up to 72. And the good thing about this problem is if you ever want to check your answer, there's no real work involved. You just do 23 plus 24 plus 25. And if it doesn't equal 72, then you got it wrong and you should try to go back and figure out your mistake. Otherwise, if it does add up, good job, you just got the problem right. All right, I have one more like this. This time I'm looking for 4 numbers. And there's something special about these 4. They are odd. Now what I do on this problem, it doesn't make a difference whether it's odd or even. The same steps will happen. Okay, it just so happens that this one is odd. But if I was to change the word to even, I would still do the exact same steps. Same steps for even. Okay, first up, do I know what any of the numbers are? No. So x is the first odd number. Now, just for a moment, let's pick an odd number, like 5. Now, what's the next odd number after 5? 7, that's right. Well, how do you go from 5 to 7? You notice you have to skip 6. So you can't just add 1. Good, you have to add 2. To get to the second number, you have to add 2 because you have to skip that other number. Now this happens when it's odd or even. I know some people think that it's because it's odd you should add 3. Well, it doesn't work that way. If you add 2, that's every other number. And every other number is odd or every other number is even. So we're going to add 2. So x plus 2 is the second odd number. That makes the third one. X plus, good, 4 is the third odd number. And then this time we have a fourth number, and that's going to be x plus, good, 6 is the fourth odd number. Now these 4 numbers are going to sum, add. So I'm going to add these 4 numbers up. X, 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 x is 4x. 2 plus 4 plus 6 makes 12. And all of that adds up to negative 136. I get that from the problem. Now if I use 2 steps and solve this, I'll know what the first number is. So I'm going to minus 12 because it says plus 12. Additive inverse crosses that out. So 4x equals, now keep in mind these are negative numbers. So if you're not confident with negative numbers, use your calculator. Negative 136 minus 12 more is negative 148. And then we need to divide by 4. 4's cancel, multiplicative inverse. X equals, it's going to be negative 148 divided by 4. I believe that is 37. Now, that is one of the numbers. Now, what's the next number after this? Remember, you're adding 2 to the answer. And don't forget, these are negative numbers. So negative 37 plus 2, it's negative 35. And negative 37 plus 4 is negative 33. And negative 37 plus 6 is negative 31. Now, of course, I wrote that workout just to show you. So your 4 answers in order: negative 37, negative 35, negative 33, and negative 31. And again, if you're not sure if that's right, go to your calculator, type the 4 numbers in, and see if it adds up to the number in the problem. If it does, then you were successful. Okay, I hope this was helpful in explaining how to solve multi-step and consecutive number problems. When you do a consecutive number problem, if you're not sure, go back and look at the video. Follow my template. This second example is what you do for odd and even numbers. The previous example is for if it's not odd or even. You use the same numbers or variables each time. X plus 2, X plus 4, X plus 6, X plus 8, X plus 10. You keep going however many you need if it's odd or even. If it's not odd or even, it's X plus 1, X plus 2, X plus 3. All right, good luck.